most students, when asked to explore Illustrator and try new things, will go to the Paintbrush tool. It's just a natural place to go. And they click and drag and, maybe scribble or whatever they do. What they end up with, if I hit the letter V, is they end up with a lot of paths. These blue lines are the paths, or whatever color. The default color for the layer options it's going to show you the different paths that are there. And then when they want to get rid of this, they go for the eraser tool. Look, if you want to get rid of something, just select it and hit delete. Or if there's a ton of stuff, Command A and hit delete. But a couple things, a lot of things to know about the brush tool. Number one, you see the paintbrush. The shortcut is B for brush. Okay, B. Now you have the brush tool. But it seems to always paint that same line, right? Some of you have figured out the brush tool ignores the fill. See, no fill. The brush tool works with a stroke by default. There's always more to learn. And then you can change. See, there's that. We can up the stroke and you get, a little thicker. There's also the profile of your line. What's the width like? Is it uniform? This is the default. Uniform is the default. And then there are the different brushes, including the brush libraries. And immediately someone will click on that. But there are also libraries down here that have lots of other choices of brushes. And there are all kinds of third-party brushes out there that we can use. So let's just stick with basic for right now. And there are the brush tip choices. But let's come back here and hit Command A and delete again. What I want to show you is if you double click on the paintbrush tool, you get the paintbrush tool options. Accurate or smooth, which do you want? Right here, if I click OK and kind of make this wavy line with my mouse, it's kind of clunky. But if I double click on this and let's just go to the other side, you can play with these settings to see what works for you, and I'll try to do something similar, and you notice how much smoother it is. It doesn't necessarily follow everywhere I move my mouse, but this is Illustrator trying to say, you want something smooth? Let me help. So depending upon what you're doing, you may want to change the fidelity. And you can always reset to get back to where the start was. And you saw fidelity in the center. I had it over on accurate because the last time I used this, I must have wanted that. Now there are options here. Fill new brush strokes, keep selected, and edit selected past. Now, this is a whole nother story, but you can experiment with this to see what happens. But before you go crazy playing around with the brush tool, playing around with different settings in the brush libraries, and, making really thick brushes, there's all kinds of other stuff we can do with this. I want you to be aware that under the paintbrush tool is the Blob brush tool. This works a little different, and we'll get to that in the next mission.